How's it going, everybody? It's Parallax Abstraction, and this is the Geek Bravado Ramble. I am recording this on February 19th, 2015. It's about 8:17 p.m. This video and the blog to go with it are probably going to go up tomorrow because it's a little bit late, but we will see about this. So it's damn cold where I am right now. I just came back from an hour of walking the dog in almost minus 40-degree temperatures with the wind. I am freaking cranky, and it is a good time for that because I need to bitch about something. So this is a little bit for technical people, a little bit not. So if you're not into technology and that, you may find this not so interesting, but maybe you will. So if you've been following the news today, and not just the tech news, but the mainstream news, you probably got wind of something involving big-time computer maker Lenovo. So, the short of it is that Lenovo has been installing or preloading a piece of software on their computers in the last year or so, or the last few months of last year, called Superfish. Sorry, I got a story up here. I want to make sure I don't miss nothing. So it's called Superfish. So preloaded crap on inexpensive PCs is not all that unusual, right? You see that stuff a lot. So probably like, well, what's the big deal with that, right? It's just another crap application that people have to uninstall and whatever. Well, this one's a little bit different. Apparently what this app does, and I've never heard of it before today actually, but apparently what it does is it is supposed to help people discover products visually. Marketing speak. And apparently what it does is it basically injects ads into your browser and your Google searches and all kinds of other stuff. Basically, if you're using the internet with this thing, it will, it basically forces ads where there would otherwise not be ads. Ads that I am quite certain Lenovo gets a nice piece of, right? Apparently a lot of antivirus programs detect this stuff as malware, but of course not the McAfee software that Lenovo has been bundling on their computers the last few months. McAfee, pretty much the worst antivirus product on the planet, and shows itself to be just a little bit worse. Which is hilarious. They're owned by Intel. You think Intel would be a little better than that. And the worst part of it is that what has really got people in a tizzy today, legitimately so, is that apparently this utility doesn't just inject advertising, it also installs its own security certificate. And basically what that means is that this thing can pass itself off as a legitimate certificate authority on your PC. So when you're browsing secure websites like, say, your bank, this software can basically trick those sites into thinking it's a legitimate piece of security software. And essentially, if misused, this product can spy on everything you're doing, including secure transactions. So anything you do that is normally, when you go to a website that's got the little lock symbol that indicates it's supposed to be secure, technically if you have this application installed, it could be reading what you're doing and phoning that home to somewhere to do God knows what with it. Now, it is unclear whether or not this software does that intentionally or if it was just so badly written that that was a side effect of it. But nonetheless, Lenovo got caught with their pants down on this. They've been in damage control mode, apparently pretty poor damage control mode from what I've heard. They've disabled the software. They're not putting it on new machines going forward, and they're promising to investigate, though they're not taking the stuff out of circulation necessarily just yet. So why am I pissed off about this? Well, I'll tell you what. I've been a Lenovo evangelist for the last couple of years. I have private IT clients, and I have people who regularly ask me to suggest products for them to buy, you know, computers or whatever. And Lenovo is, for the last couple of years, has been what I've recommended. I have sold probably about a dozen different Lenovo computers to clients. I bought a heavily customized $1,600 Lenovo laptop last summer to do video projects on. My girlfriend, who had an absolutely abysmal product quality and service experience with Dell, just returned an Inspiron 13 for a Lenovo Yoga Pro 2. It's literally sitting on the kitchen table upstairs. It has been turned on twice for me to prep it for. She hasn't even touched it yet because she's been out of town. Now, we're fortunate in that these are all higher-end machines and that none of them came with Superfish on them. I actually checked and I ran malware scans on them. So nothing I have sold anyone and nothing we have bought ourselves has come with this. it would appear, from what I can tell, that this has been mostly on consumer-level machines, the lower-end stuff. So not ThinkPads, ThinkCenters, which is the kind of stuff that we have. It's the stuff, either the stuff that you would buy that's only a few $100s, or that you might get off the shelf in a Best Buy or whatever. But here's what pisses me off about this. I have given Lenovo credit for a long time because there are a lot of shitty PC makers out there. I've had some terrible experiences the last few years. I have hated Acer since the late 90s, and I won't rant about them here, but they're garbage. HP has had a lot of problems. Dell has had their ups and downs. Everyone has had their ups and downs over the years. But I've always really liked Lenovo because, one, their stuff is really well built for the money. Their support has generally been very good in my experience. And in addition to that, the one thing I love is that usually, even on their inexpensive systems, they don't tend to load them with a lot of garbage. A lot of HP and Acer machines, even on the more expensive ones, come loaded with half a dozen different pieces of crap that you've got to remove. What I like about Lenovo is most of the stuff I've sold from them has come with a trial of some kind of antivirus, which is pretty normal, so you get rid of it. And that's often about it. The actual Lenovo utilities that they preload on the systems, like Lenovo System Center and Lenovo System Update, are friggin' great. They're really well made. They're not bloated. They actually do what they're supposed to do properly. And and if you don't want them, they're very easy to get rid of. I have very much approved of those over the years. I actually leave those utilities on my laptop because I think they work really, really well, and they're really good at keeping stuff current and making sure everything's running well. I think that's fantastic. And this is the reason that I've recommended them. And you know what I had to deal with today? I had to deal with multiple clients emailing me going, did you sell me something that's been phoning home my credit card and banking information? What the hell did you do? And also my girlfriend going, we just went through this mess with Dell. Did the machine I just buy have this problem as well? And I had to go into my own damage control mode to tell all these people, no, what I didn't sell you doesn't have any of this crap. Don't worry about it. There's not, you know, I assure you there's no problem. And most of my clients were like, oh, okay, but you know, they're seeing these hyped up news reports about people getting secure data phoned home, and Lenovo kind of going, it's not that big a deal, guys. And they get rightfully nervous. And I have to deal with that. This is different than the HP machine that has friggin' Wild Tangent games or built into it, or the Acer that has, you know, 17 different Acer bloatware utilities. This is different. This is something that is, this is a company that it has been trusted for a long time, that is not only dealing with a fairly significant security flaw, one that they either were so incompetent that they let go slip through the cracks and get onto their systems, or that frankly they knew was bad and they let get on machines, which is horrible enough. But this is not an American company. Lenovo is a Chinese company, which means they are probably, at least in part, owned by the Chinese government. And when it comes to security in the technology world, the Chinese government is not necessarily the most highly regarded thing these days. And this is only going to shake confidence in that. You know, there are probably massive corporate environments now, too, that are going, what the hell are these guys doing? You know, what else has come on our systems? And this pisses me the fuck off. It really does. Like, this is a company that has understood throughout the years how to build a quality product, even for a low price. This is what I've loved about them. Even their cheap machines are usually very solid, and they're not full of cut corners. And now we've got this situation. And this drives me nuts, not just as someone who supports Lenovo, but as someone who is a 100% proud PC evangelist. Anyone who knows me at all or has followed my Twitter for years knows that I consider myself, it's in my Twitter bio, I think, that I am an anti-Apple fanboy. I think Apple products are horrendously overpriced. I think they trade on fashion value more than product quality. I think OS X is a horribly over-designed, ugly, pain-in-the-ass-to-use system. I firmly believe that from a usability standpoint, and indeed largely from a stability standpoint, Windows is vastly superior to OS X. And I think that Apple gets away with stuff that nobody else does. Microsoft was, you know, at one point charged with being a monopoly. Well, Apple literally has a monopoly on their ecosystem. They go out of their way to shut out any competition in hardware or software. If you want to use Apple's operating system, you have to pay sometimes a 40% premium on the same hardware that you would get with a PC. And yeah, I don't like Apple. I hate their hardcore fans. I hate people who try to justify paying too much for a product simply because it's friggin' fashionable. Technology is not supposed to be fashionable. It's supposed to be usable. And I have been a proud PC evangelist for many, many years. And I guarantee you today that there was a whole bunch of people standing around Apple stores sneering, going, oh, look, here's another friggin' reason why no one should buy a PC, because now you're buying PCs and they got friggin' spyware on them. And I am sick to fucking death of this. Like, it is becoming, I am a proud PC user. I have talked people out of buying Macs and saved them a lot of money, and as a result of that, and it's getting harder and harder to evangelize for this platform, because one of the things I love about the PC platform is that you have choice. If you want a Mac, you've got to buy one of the handful of different overpriced models that Apple wants to sell you. If you want a PC, you can build one yourself. There are a billion different companies out there building them. You can get one custom made by a store if you want. You have all kinds of different options running the gamut of price and capability. And that's one of the things I really, really love about the PC platform. And it's harder and harder to evangelize this platform when so many of the major players are doing this shady stuff that's just making people go, fuck this, I don't want to deal with this crap, I'm going to go buy a Mac. And believe me, you can say what you want about Apple, and I can say plenty of reasons why you shouldn't buy one of their products, but they don't do this. You may pay a 40% premium for a Mac, but it doesn't come loaded with spyware that's going to phone home, at least not that we're aware of. You know, it doesn't come with a bunch of trial garbage software on it that you have to remove and that slows your system down. It doesn't come, all the utilities that are on it that are written by Apple to work with their system are very good and very reliable and very solid. You don't have to deal with that garbage. And it's not worth the 40% premium, frankly, but to someone who reads about this today and was thinking about buying a Lenovo laptop for $500 or a MacBook for $999 or even $1199, they might go, you know what? I know I'm not going to have to worry with that MacBook. Let's go do that. And the entire PC ecosystem, not just Lenovo, the entire PC platform has lost another player or another potential customer. Like that, this is ridiculous. And believe me, I've worked in IT in various capacities for the better part of 20 years now, including in retail. And I understand that this is the reason why comparing Apple to anyone else is literally apples to oranges. See what I did there? Yeah. So Apple does extremely well because they have managed to convince people that paying a massive premium and massive profit margin for a product that's just a PC with a worse operating system works. They have managed to do that. Frankly, I'll applaud them for being able to make that sell, because it's a hell of a sell. And I understand the fact that there is no money to be made in PC hardware unless you were selling massive volumes. Any piece of equipment or computer that I sell to a client is almost always sold at cost, because there's no money in it unless you were moving millions and millions of units. There's no money to be made. And we're talking profit margins sometimes in like 1 or 2%, like grocery store profit margin areas. Like, let me give you an example. I used to work for Geek Squad years ago. I know, don't shoot. This is back when Geek Squad, the brief period when Geek Squad was actually kind of good. And I used to work for them. And when we were in our Best Buy stores, I remember the manager of the computer department told us something very interesting. If you wonder why when you go into a Best Buy they push so hard for you to buy cables and Geek Squad service and extended warranties and stuff, he actually said that on almost any computer they had in the store, except for the really high-end stuff, if you sold the computer as a salesperson and you didn't sell it with either extended warranty, Geek Squad accessories, or something else, it literally cost the store more to pay your hourly wage as a salesperson than they made on that computer. In other words, if you didn't sell any add-ons with the computer, they literally lost money on it. That's how tight the margins are on this stuff. That's why you've seen so many PCs in the last number of years that have had a lot of this preloaded garbage on them. Because if you buy an HP that has Wild Tangent stuff on it, for example, and you become what's called a conversion, which means that you load up one of those Wild Tangent demo games and you say, hey, I like this, and you pay for it, HP gets a piece of that. If you get a computer with a trial version of Norton Antivirus on it and you convert that to a paid version, PC Maker gets a piece of that. The vast majority of these things don't convert. It's just like free-to-play mobile games, which I've also railed on. The vast majority of people don't switch over and don't pay any money, but the small amount that do allow the PC maker to make the money that they need so that they can sell that machine as cheap as possible. And that's where they're basically profiting. They're not profiting off the hardware. They're profiting off of the other stuff that's on it. I have long thought that that's a terrible business model, but in a weird way, it's been kind of a byproduct of the heavy competition there's been in the PC space for a long time. There's been a race to the bottom. Prices are going down. Product quality has also gone down, but product quality can only get so low. And the problem is, to be frank about it, when we're talking about non-Apple people here, we have people who want to pay $399 for a computer that should cost $1,000. It's an inconvenient truth that people don't want to listen to. But it's really true in that forget computers, most consumer electronics, appliances, TVs, anything like that, frankly, should cost a lot more than it does. But people want their cheap commoditized laptop. And it always does drive me nuts when people complain, well, why are PCs not as good as Macs? And I'm like, because the PC you're buying is worth $399 and the company still has to make money on it. You're not willing to pay for quality, so you're getting garbage. And that's kind of the thing that's happening now. But I have long said maybe the industry needs to stop racing to the bottom quite so fast and charge $20 more for that laptop, make a decent margin, and not put any garbage on it. And this is a whole other level. This is a piece of software that, even if it wasn't potentially monitoring all your secure communications, it's a piece of software that's still injecting banner ads into web pages. And apparently that's not illegal, I guess, but it's a horribly scummy practice. You're literally selling your customers a product and then diluting and polluting the experience of using said product to pad your own margin. You're literally making the experience of using your computer worse to pad your own margin. You're shooting yourselves in the foot when you do that. You're making your product worse to use and then hoping that customer, when that laptop needs to be replaced, that they'll come back to you. How do you think that makes any sense? Like, that's what I call public company thinking. It's only thinking about the next 3 months, and we'll worry about what to do in 3 years and 3 years. It's fucking stupid. It's so stupid. And that's exactly what this is. This is short-term public company thinking. You know, how much damage control has been done with this? If Lenovo, has to be done with this, if Lenovo loses even one big corporate customer with tens of thousands of workstations over this, this will hurt them infinitely more than anything else, than any gain would be that they would get from using this software. And they deserve it. They really do. They still make great hardware. My girlfriend's Yoga 2 laptop upstairs is a friggin' piece of art. It is gorgeous. My Lenovo L540 that I bought last year is a friggin' beast. I love that thing. I really do. It's one of the best laptops I've ever owned. It's a great machine. But how can I now, even if they've disabled this, the next time a customer of mine wants to buy a new computer and I'm like, oh, hey, yeah, I can get you this Lenovo ThinkCenter, the first thing I'm going to have to answer now out of everybody's mouth is aren't those the computers that spy on me? Like, fucking why? Like, how many headaches have you caused for yourself, for the people who sell your products for you, for the people who use your products, for Microsoft, indeed. Microsoft they're the gatekeepers of Windows. They're trying to get people hyped for Windows 10 right now. And how many potential, PC customers have you now sent to Apple on a silver platter because you couldn't friggin' keep your dick in your pants and you had to try to find a way to milk people for more money instead of going, geez, maybe our business model's screwed up. Maybe if we're making this little money on the computers, we should, maybe charge a little bit more and try to tell people, hey, this is a quality product. Maybe you should pay $20, $30 more for this versus the competition and get a better product. What a novel idea. Actually telling people, hey, our computer's not just the cheapest, it's the best. Like, remember when products used to get sold on being the best, not the cheapest? That's one thing Apple has down. Their products are not the best, far from it, but they know how to sell a product as the best product. They know how to tell people, this isn't the cheapest kid on the block, but it's better. That's what PC makers need to do again. Start making really cool products, evangelize the shit out of them, and tell people why they're good and why they're worth the extra money. You will get people on board. You will get me on board. I will always, always pay more money for a better product. Not a ton more. I won't pay 40% more and buy a Mac, but I will pay another... My Lenovo cost, if my Lenovo cost $1,000, I'd pay $200 more for a machine that was built like a Sherman tank and that I could practically guarantee would be problem-free for 3 to 5 years. I would absolutely pay for that. My girlfriend would pay for that. Most of my clients would pay for that. I would not have a hard time selling that to anybody. Ugh, like, this is all you guys need to do. And, you know, this is probably going to be the most controversial thing I say, at least if you're into PCs the way I am, but I'm really beginning to think it needs to happen. One of the things I've said, you know, I said that the thing I like the most about the PC platform is choice, and the choices that it gives you. Part of that choice also means that I like the fact that Microsoft largely stays hands-off with OEM manufacturers like Lenovo, HP, Dell, etc. They go, pay us our fee, here's your operating system, don't, you know, make sure it works, and fine. I really think that Microsoft needs to reach a point where there needs to be some ground rules if you're going to use Windows. I don't think they need to say you can't put any additional value-added software on machines. Like, trials of antiviruses, I don't necessarily mind that. Stuff like Wild Tangent games, stuff that's generally not intrusive, I don't mind that. System utilities like Lenovo Solution Center, Lenovo System Update, as long as they're well written and don't make things worse, cool. I have no problem with that. But I think Microsoft should be in a position to demand of OEMs that you are not allowed to install anything that can be considered malicious software on your systems. And if you do, we either reserve the right to fine you or yank your OEM license away. I think Microsoft, as the gatekeepers of the dominant operating system of not just the PC platform, of any platform, needs to take an active role in this and tell these companies, because you're ruining our reputation as much as your own, you can't do this crap. You can't put spyware on a product that you're charging money for, not if it's going to have our operating system on it. And I don't think that's unfair at all. Like, there must be people at Microsoft today in the Windows team who are just friggin' spitting nails because they're trying to recover from the disaster that was Windows 8, even though Windows 8 is good. They're trying to recover from that PR disaster. They've done the massive mea culpa where every Windows 7 and Windows 8 customer is going to get Windows 10 for free. They're doing massive damage control and doing right by it, and here comes Lenovo putting another friggin' kidney punch into the PC platform right when Microsoft is probably spending a ton of money to try to hype it up again and to get people back into PCs and to tell them, hey, here's why PCs are better. And I don't think they should be allowed to do it. I really think they should be able to put ground rules down and say, you can't do this kind of shit. And not to say we're going to audit every system image that you put on a machine before you put it out there, but we're going to say, hey, if we get word of this kind of thing happening, you're going to pay out the ass in fines or risk losing your right to sell Windows. Who's going to say no? Lenovo, all of these companies need Windows to survive. It's a symbiotic relationship. Microsoft needs the companies to sell Windows for them. These companies need Windows to get anybody to buy their hardware. They are not in a position to say no to Microsoft in that situation. And I think this is when Microsoft needs to throw their weight around the quote-unquote monopoly power that people said they had and just say, stop fucking us over. And start treating your customers with friggin' respect and like bloody customers, not friggin' cash machines. People already paid for the computer. It's not their fault that your business model is so screwed up that you can't turn a profit on a $1,000 computer. They paid once, you don't get to milk them anymore. Figure out how to make money on computers or charge more money. You've got a 40% price gulf between you and Apple. If you boost your prices 10% and start making a good profit without putting garbage on your machines, you're still 30% cheaper than Apple. You've got entire marketing teams with multi-million-dollar budgets. I'm sure they can figure out how to sell that. If they can't, maybe you should fucking fire them too. I don't know. God damn it. This pisses me off. It really does. Yeah, I haven't done a Geek Bravado ranting like this in a long time. This is really I'm living up to the name tonight, I tell you. But this drives me nuts. I love the PC. I have been a PC user since the early 90s, since DOS, for God's sakes. And I hate the cheap, uninformed, ignorant stabs I see Apple fanboys take at PCs because they need to justify their overpriced fashion accessories, which is what almost every Apple product is. But it is getting harder and harder every day to tell people that they should buy a PC when they have to worry about crap like this. This hurts everyone. Moves like this hurt Lenovo, they hurt Microsoft, they hurt Dell, HP, Asus, Acer, Alienware, everybody else, because people... They know there are multiple brands of PCs, but there are a lot of people out there who just see a PC as a PC. And when they hear one PC maker's doing bad shit, they're like, well, what are all these other ones doing? I hear Apple's not doing that. Maybe I'll go there. Oh, it costs more? Well, yeah, but I don't have to worry, and it just works, which is a load of horse shit. This isn't a hard problem, guys. Fix your fucking business. It is not the customer's job to fix your broken business. It's your job. That's why your CEOs get paid millions of dollars a year more than your average worker. That's why your CEO got paid millions of dollars more a year than the guys who actually designed the fucking computers. It's your job to fix this. Fucking fix it. Stop giving the PC platform and those who evangelize it a hard time and get your act together. This is friggin' ridiculous. And don't just do, like, actually fix it now, not just every time you get caught. Like, enough is enough. It really is. Ugh. Anyway, I'm just going to repeat myself from here on. But I had to vent that out there because I read this morning and just my blood was starting to boil because I knew I was going to hear about it, and I totally did. And it is not the way I wanted to spend my day. So, yeah, hopefully this does kick a few people into realizing what they can and can't do now. Maybe this is what was needed to get the house in order in general. I hope so. Shouldn't have had to come to this, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, so that's that, guys. This blog will probably... It might go up tonight if I want to bang it out, or it might go up tomorrow, Friday the 20th. We'll see what happens. But thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to me scream about this anyway. And sorry once again about the sort of lousy picture quality. I ordered a new webcam today. I have a shiny new Logitech C920 en route. So hopefully the next time I do one of these videos, I'll look a little bit better and not so film grainy. But we'll see what happens. So thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. And check out geekbravado.com as well. That does help me out a great deal. I am hopefully going to be starting my retro flashback plays of Star Wars Republic Commando this weekend, if not early next week. So you'll start seeing that soon. Look forward to that. And I put up a bunch of new videos lately, a couple retro flash forwards, my plays of Siberia, which if you want to see me get angry as well, that was a fun time. Yeah, lots of stuff to see and check out. And I've done a couple Ramblecasts lately too, so you can get to those from geekbravado.com as well. So thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Fuck you, Lenovo. Take it easy.